if you are a producer and you want your music placed in TV by this time next year, comment the word placements, and I'm going to share with you how you can make it happen. Realistically, though, not like on some unrealistic, crazy expectation stuff that we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to share some case studies from the community on how they were able to do it. So let me know where you're from. Let me know what you do in the comments, in the chat. I love to see who's engaging, man, who's locked in. And we're going to talk about it. Let me drop this in the community so we can get our people in here. What's good, y'all? What's good? Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you do. Let's see. Hanging out live. We're going to drop this in the Sync Producer Hub community. Jason, what's good, bro? Hope all is well. Hope you had a dope weekend. Let's see if I can do this without having my audio go crazy. Got it. Boom. We about to dig into it. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. Coach Clint, appreciate you coming through, man. So let's talk about it. I get hit up quite a bit because I talk about sync all the time. I geek out about this stuff. So I get hit up with questions. I get hit up by producers, artists, songwriters. I personally focus on coaching producers. That's just kind of my thing. I'm a producer myself, so I know all the mistakes I made when I was trying to get TV placement starting out as a producer. So that's who I talk to. So sometimes I'll get hit up by somebody and they're like, yo, I'm trying to get a placement this month. Like, how do I get started? And then I'm just like, yo, if you try to get something this month, I'm not saying it's impossible. However, you're late. You're like a year or two already late. Same if you want placements this quarter. It's too late. It's too late. You've already missed the window of opportunity to make it happen. What's up, Dre? Hope all is well, man. Like, you've already missed the window of opportunity. I'm going to explain why. So sync licensing is not like, if you're trying to pay rent this month, is not the thing to get into as a producer to like hurry up and make some quick money, right? Have I had placements happen quickly? Sort of. And we can dig into that a little bit later as well, because it seems like, oh, I just got a placement in a week, but was it really a week? So sync is like, it's one of those things where you can do things to make the process move faster, right? Avoid all the mistakes, you know, especially if you're pitching for the first time. There's a lot of mistakes you'll make, you know, just reaching out the wrong way, just talking entirely too much, submitting music the wrong way, not producing and formatting music the wrong way. There's just a bunch of things you can get wrong to delay the process, right? And then there's things you can do right to speed up the process. It's still not going to be quick, but it'll speed up the process and minimize, you know, failure, rejection, things like that. But if you're trying to get started and you're serious about sync, I'm going to tell you, prepare to just chill for like the next year or two. It could happen sooner. Realistically, prepare for like a year or two to just be locked in, just creating, pitching, and just rinsing and repeating, because most situations, you know, once the placements start rolling in, you look back and you realize, well, I kind of did like a lot of work on the front end that took a while to start working, to where now it seems like, yeah, just placements are just kind of rolling in, but it's like, what about the work that happened before that? So let's take a case study, for example. We've had like a few of them this week just inside of our community. And it's just like a lot of people are just like saying the same thing, where it's just like, yeah, it's you got to be patient. This isn't a get rich quick scheme, sync licensing. Like, yes, it's one of the best ways for producers to make money with their music, but like, again, if it's about instant gratification for you, if it's about, yo, I got to see if this worked first after submitting one track, you're not gonna stick around long. And then that's why I don't worry about oversaturation. When people be like, there's so many people talking about sync, so many people trying to get placements. Okay, 99% of those people, they're gonna flake out in a year, because they're not patient. Most people they're lazy and not patient. So like a lot of the competition is gonna be weeded out, and then the people who like, yo, I'm in this for the long run, you'll still see them. Like next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you'll see like, man, they're getting placements. And then the people who just gave up, they're like, dang, I should have stuck with it. Or they'll come back. I've had people reach out to me like, yo, man, I started and it like, I got to get back into it. I'm like, bro, you shouldn't have stopped, fam. You got to keep going. So, all right. There was a couple of them. So let's go to this one. We'll start with Jason, because he mentioned it in the spirit of, no, let's go. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go, because he's kind of piggybacking off of the first one. So Steve was talking about some placements, right? Starting off 2026, right? So he had logged in his TuneSat, saw his first 3 placements for 2026, 2 on Food Network, Bacon Championship Next Gen, and 1 on Bravo's Below Deck Mediterranean. And he shared like a screenshot with us, which is super dope. Congrats to Steve. So that started it off about 10 days ago. And then it happened again. Actually, we had a few. It happened again with Gabriel. Gabriel landed some NFL placements. Shout out to Gabriel. He checked his TuneSat. He found out on accident that he's been getting placements since like last November. So he just found out that his music's been getting used. No, since December. So he shared a screenshot of that, which is crazy. And then Jason came in and was talking about it. So he said, in the spirit of Steve's recent success, check my TuneSat 4 detections in 2026. I loaded those tracks to TuneSat at the beginning of last year, and many of them were created and submitted in 2024 like Steve's. So both Steve and Jason, they created these tracks like back in 2024, was submitting last year. I think Steve was the same situation. It was like a couple years in the making. And they're just saying it's a long game, but it's starting to snowball. And that's the thing. Like, if you can sit and chill for like a couple years and just know that, hey, I'm starting this process of getting my music placed in TV and film now, but I know I may not start to see the fruits of this labor until a couple years from now. If you're okay with that, this can be a great journey for you as a producer to start monetizing your music. And Jason, his was NBC Telemundo, which is super dope. Which Dateline NBC, Dateline has been on the air forever. Like, I don't remember Dateline not being on TV. I'm pretty sure it's been on like my entire life. So those are like 3 examples right there. And then recently we had a massive win from Courtney in the community. She just landed her first 10 placements, right? So she says story time, came home to find a 1099 from ASCAP. I'm thinking like, do I have a placement I don't know about? That's kind of been the theme this week. Like producers just getting placements and not even knowing they're getting placements. It's been crazy. So she's just like, did I get a placement I don't know about? So she logs into ASCAP, and that's when she discovered she has 10 placements across 8 shows. She landed placements on Jay and Pamela, Big Frida Means Business, 90 Day Fiance, Before the 90 Days, Stadium Lockup, Southern Hospitality. I think I got some on there as well. Real Housewives of Potomac, Other Games. So she says, and I'm starting 2026 with a placement on, she just got a recent one this year with a placement on House Hunters. Shout out to Anthony Clint Jr. for the Road to 10 Placements course and the Sync Producer Hub. We call it SPH for short. And that's crazy. And I know Courtney's been rocking with Road to 10 Placement for a minute. Like I think before we even started this community, and the course she's talking about is this Road to 10 Placements course. So like as soon as you join Sync Producer Hub, this is automatically unlocked. And this is literally, if you ignore everything else inside of our community, all the curriculum, like if you ignore all of this stuff and only took the Road to 10 Placements course, you will have everything you need to know how to produce, prepare, and pitch placement ready music for TV. Like all of that this is like the core curriculum right here. So what she was referring to is the Road to 10 Placements course. And this is like my personal journey. It's basically everything I documented when I was trying to land my first 10 TV placements in a year. I gave myself a deadline. I talk about SMART goals a lot, but I gave myself a deadline to where it was specific to TV placements. It was achievable, and it was measurable. 10 placements, and then it had a time limit to it, and it was realistic. So everything I did to start the process all the way up until I have 10 TV placements is in that course. And the only thing that's really changed since that, I've updated some things, but the only thing that's really changed is like the tools we use to find the companies and things like that. What's good, Michael Connor? That's the only thing that really changed. But that wasn't instant, right? They just landed placements this quarter, 2026, kicking off the year strong. However, people who are trying to like, I want placements like this quarter, not saying it's impossible. Things may just work out in your favor to where things move super fast, right? I've seen it happen. However, it's not common. So if you want a higher chance of landing placements, this has already passed. You should have been working on this process last year if you wanted placements this quarter, right? Or the year before last even. We can reach back to 2024, just like some of the producers had mentioned previously. Like they've been working at this for a while, and that's what it takes. Like it takes consistency. It takes doing the same thing over and over, produce, prepare, pitch, repeat, rinse and repeat. And they just kept doing that. And now, placements will start to become a little more predictable. Like now I can log into TuneSat and I know something's going to get placed this month. Like some music is going to get used. I don't know where, but I'm pretty sure with all of the music I've created over the years, over the past 13 years, something's going to land because it's in this system continuously working for us. So I always tell producers like, don't wait. Like, don't wait until you have a massive catalog. You know what I mean? Like, don't wait until you have, some people want to wait till they build up 20, 30 tracks. No, like you can start with 0 tracks, like none in your catalog. Take the Road to 10 Placements course and then take the How to Structure Instrumentals for TV. I think that unlocks it like level 2. Take that. Learn how to structure, because honestly, what happens a lot of times is producers start pitching music that they already made without making sure it's structured properly so that editors can actually use it and is functional in the context of TV, film, and media. Right? What's up? It says, facts. I'm on set tomorrow filming a Netflix Christmas movie as an organist. That's super dope. I love it. And that's crazy how that works too. Like to be on set acting as a musician, but then also getting placements as a musician as well is insane. But yeah, so what was I saying? So when you're starting, you're pitching music that's already made, the mistake that a lot of producers make is just trying to force something to fit. But I feel like starting from scratch is actually an advantage because you don't really have to overthink. You don't have to try and like force something to fit. You can just create from scratch with this new mindset, this new approach, this new structure that is intended to work for TV and film. So it makes things a lot easier because now, you know, as you create, you have this structure in mind of how to format it. You know, how short should your intro be? How long should the verses be? What do you need coming from a verse to the hook? How do you need to end the track? All these things that play a role into what an editor thinks about your music and whether or not it's sync worthy. So I feel like personally, it's an advantage if you don't have anything ready. Just start from scratch. And then from there, you can just build, 5 tracks, a playlist of 5 tracks, similar in style, and then pitch those 5. Or if you want to create a whole album, like a themed album or something like that, and maybe make it 7 to 10. But I always recommend starting off with 5. If they want more, they'll ask for more. Sometimes I've had producers where they've reached out to different publishers, and they just the publishers hit them back and ask them to do like a whole 10-track album just from the few tracks that they heard from their submission. So you only need a few to really get things going, and then you'll just continue to create more, especially as you start getting publishing deals. Publishers going to ask you for specific styles of music that they actually need, that they're looking for, which again is going back to another mistake that a lot of producers make is you don't know what people need. So you're just pitching what you think is dope, which, okay, that's fine. But when you think about the context of creating music for TV and film, you're creating music to solve a problem, or to support a scene or something that's happening, on picture. So a lot of times it's easier, again, to create from a brief because now you're not wasting time pitching music that nobody needs. And again, you increase your chances of having, useful music by just following the brief that they're sending out based on, based on their needs. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about this, drop it in the chat. The link to the community is in the description as well and pinned to the chat. If you're not inside, that's where we share all the sauce to help each other level up. Michael Connor with the tip. He says Christmas music is an all year round need with NSYNC. Christmas holiday music isn't just needed during the holidays. Some shows and movies have holiday scenes in them that's off season. That's a fact. And it's crazy too because for the Christmas movies and the shows, the Christmas scenes like that air during the Christmas season, those briefs start coming in like during the spring and summer. Like I want to say, last year it seemed like it was earlier than ever. It wasn't even summer yet. So, not even halfway through the year, you're seeing Christmas briefs for the actual Christmas stuff. And then what Michael just mentioned is like, there's some of the off season stuff. So honestly, you can't go wrong with Christmas music because it's going to be needed at some point throughout the year. And it just continues to circle back around every single season. So you can just, boom, you got this growing catalog of Christmas music that you can pitch every single year. Or if you're leveraging systems how we leverage them in the hub, the partnerships, the publishers that you're with, they're going to re-pitch that stuff every single year. So it's just super dope. Who caught the Super Bowl, man? Did y'all pick up on any trends or anything in terms of the music being used during the Super Bowl ads? I feel like this year it was a wide range of music. Like obviously the halftime show was was Latin music, but in terms of the ads, I heard a little bit of everything, and it was like that last year too. I think the year before last, I heard a lot of like minimal bass and percussion driven stuff, which was interesting. And then also notice like the AI company's going heavy too with the ads. So that's interesting. But yeah. Sync is fun, man. It's fun. It just takes a lot of patience. It takes a ton of patience. LW says the ads were bad. It was hard to focus on the music. I only remember like a couple ads. One that stood out had zero music, and that was the Minions, the Minions ad, where it was just like just white space, a minion running up, and then that was it. It was funny because we were eating dinner when that came on, but like everybody stopped and looked like, what is that? Michael says, I remember you posting a graphic in the hub about the elements you use in sync music tracks. Would you be able to repost it again? Yeah, I wonder. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find that. I don't even know what did I name that joint? Let me see. Ah, 5 core production elements. I think I found it. Okay. I'm about to here, let's post it on here while I'm live. Drum, yep. I got you. This somebody asked about this too. When was that? Last week. No, I think it was Jason on the Sync Producer Spotlight Friday. He had asked like how I kind of not overproduce, which was a huge challenge of mine. So all right. Is it 5? 5 core production elements. All right, so 5 core production elements, and you're making music for TV and film. This will help you. It helped me avoid overproduction by just sticking to the basics. So we got drums and percussion, essential rhythmic foundation for music. So that's self-explanatory. Kick, snare, hi-hat, crashes, shakers, whatever, cowbell. We got the main chords. So it's like the core harmonic structure of the piece. So let's say we use a 2-5-1 progression or whatever, just to keep it simple. That's what we're going to start with. So that may be like main chords. A lot of times, it depends on the style of music. It could be a synth, it could be a piano, it could be whatever, pads. But those are like the main chords. Everything that everything is just built around. And then a counter melody. It's a complementary tune that enhances the main melody. We got the bass. That's going to provide the depth and the groove to the track. The bass and the drum section works together. A lot of times when we're creating stems for sync, you'll have a drum and bass stem. So you want those locked in for sure. And then your main melody, that's the primary tune that defines the song. So another example of a stem that we create is what they call, it depends on the publisher you're working with. Some call it different things, but it could be called an underscore, or it could be called, I've seen a reduced version. And what I usually do for my underscore versions is I'll take out the main melody. So that's usually the thing that will, it's either something that's constantly going throughout the track, or it's something that comes and pops out during the hook. And it's just super catchy. It's just like the main idea of the track. And then usually the counter melody is maybe something, it could be in the hook as well. But then that may be something that I'll bring in like the second half of verses and stuff like that. So these are like the core elements that I'm putting in everything I produce for TV and film, unless I'm just producing. Like one time I was doing a trailer. It was like a trailer for what's a good example? Think of like Moana, right? Like a trailer for Moana where they just wanted heavy tropical production and just sound design elements, right? So there was no melody, there was no chords or anything like that. It was just heavy production. And then that's it. Heavy production and sound design stuff. So big booms, risers, hits, and then percussion. So obviously I wouldn't have all of this in that. Like we got to use our brains. Like if it doesn't fit, then don't force it, right? It's not for that. But if you're doing a regular track, right, just a regular pop, hip hop, country, rock, like whatever, that has multiple elements, then this is usually what I'm following here. Once I get past this, if it's not doing the same thing as the main chords or the same thing as the main melody or the same thing as the counter melody, and I'm just like, it's not stacking sounds, then that's when I start getting into overproduction land. And then it's like, okay, I need to dial it back. But I will have an occasional, multiple sounds stacked doing the same thing for the main melody, right? So it may be a synth lead doing the main melody, and it may be a piano doing the main melody, but it's doing the same thing. It's just layered. So it's still not sounding super busy. It just sounds full and not overproduced. So I will do that. But in terms of like 4 and 5 melodies and counter melodies, it just starts to become a lot, especially if you have it all going at once. So the test for me is playing the hook. I should hear all of these things, at least most of these things in the hook. Again, the counter melody, maybe not. But if all of these things are playing in the hook and it doesn't sound like they're competing for the same space, then I'm usually good. I can work backwards and reverse engineer it from there and build the rest of the track, because I usually start with building the 8-bar hook anyway, and then I just kind of work myself backwards and go from there. Michael says, it seems like 5 is too many, but to an overproducer like moi, it's a great discipline tool for cranking out tracks, something I need to follow religiously. Yeah, to help you get, like, it's like, yo, you only got five sounds or tracks to get an idea out. You'll move much faster instead of just having, like, in our brains, it's just like I have an unlimited canvas of sounds I can use in tracks. This will keep you on track for sure. Jeff TV says, always helpful stuff. Sorry I missed your NAM. How much tweaking on your mixes do you have to do past your template? Hope that makes sense. Oh yeah, so okay, let's say I have a sports hip hop template with sounds already laid out, drums laid out, synth laid out, brass, strings laid out. It depends. If I keep the sounds as is and I don't change anything, very minimal tweaking on the mix. It may just be some minor tweaks. So if I'm bouncing from one track, I got it all mixed how I like it, and I don't change anything. I'm just changing the melodies and the chords. I shouldn't have to do a whole lot to that mix, which is why I like working off templates, because of that. That just saved me a bunch of time, and I can crank stuff out faster. That's how I was able to knock out like at least 5 tracks for a brief in a week for a publisher, when I still had a full-time job. Was just templates. Like, they wanted sports hip hop. I'm still getting placements on stuff I created from those batches today, like on new shows. And I was able to crank those out quick, because I would do one, spend the time to get it mixed and dialed in, and then that became the template. And I was just like, okay, this is the brass I'm using. These are the strings I'm using. That's it. If I did change a sound, that's when I may have to tweak some stuff if it's a different sound, just because, it just comes across different in the mix. But that saved me a ton of time. Then I already had like my mastering chain already as a template. So I would just enable that and then boom, play it real quick, structure it out. All the time was just spent on just kind of structuring, because I would start over from the hook and then like reverse engineer, structure it out, and then losing my voice. And then pretty much after that, I'm just bouncing it out. So it allowed me to crank stuff out really, really quick. Bro, I remember you posted a tension track using one sound from Ionosphere or something crazy. Oh, yeah. Like the tension stuff, man. One sound. Especially if you got a good Omnisphere, even in what's Logic's stock joint. I forget the name, but I've done a bunch of Catfish stuff and tension stuff, CBS News, some CBS News documentary. It was just one sound. It was just a really good tension sound, and yeah, that thing got placed. B Rad, what's good? Does your bus setups carry over on the templates? Yes. So usually I'll always have a drum bus, and then yeah, all of that stuff is copied over as well. Alchemy, that's the name of it. Yeah. So Alchemy definitely can get the job done for some minimal tension stuff. Yeah. I use Alchemy quite a bit. Like if I'm on the iPad, I'll use Alchemy. Like Alchemy's like it's like my Omnisphere replacement if I don't have Omnisphere on a device. And then I'll keep it though. Like sometimes you know how, if you're on the iPad, you don't have all your sounds on the iPad. And then once you get to the full Logic, you swap things out. When it comes to Alchemy, I don't even swap it out. Like I did a few tracks for a recent album I did for a publisher. It was the one where they didn't want any emotion. Just that was fun. But I used stock Logic sounds for like a few of those tracks straight from Alchemy. So it's really good. Shout out to Logic, man. Like you can't go wrong with what's in the box. It's a great plugin, not a plugin, great DAW to start out with. How do you feel about Native Instruments and Solvency? Do you use any of it? Man, I use a ton of Native Instruments stuff. That's like, everything I've produced over the past decade has had Native Instrument sounds in it. How I feel about it, man, it's business. It's business. So we have to wait and kind of see how it plays out. It could be a situation where, I don't know, maybe a company will come and kind of, I don't know, do some business exchanges and, keep some at least in business. Some ownership stuff may change. But we'll see. Hopefully they can still stick around to some extent for the sounds. As far as like hardware stuff, I just feel like in terms of the hardware, I guess it started to kind of make sense because I just felt like they have fallen behind in terms of what I've been seeing Akai do with their hardware and like some other companies. I'm like, man, they're kind of falling behind, man. And then, you see that news, it's like, oh, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. But we'll see. I've been having, and I was talking about this in the hub, I've been having like issues with, the last couple versions of Contact in terms of consistency and stability. I don't know what that's been about. But that's been annoying. Yeah. Wondering how I'll be affected by the libraries I have on my Contact. Yeah, I would hope I don't know, man. I would hope they could at least keep support open for that stuff because they have a ton of libraries out there that people are using. I hope I can get a hold of Rise and Hit before it becomes unavailable. It's top of my shopping, aka gas list. Yeah, that I need that. I got if y'all gonna keep anything, keep that. That is like my transitional. That's just where I go for transitions, man. That's been my go-to, my entire career. I would have to find alternatives, which I'm sure they're out there, but that one just works. It just works well for me. Can we all pull together and purchase Native Instruments then? I hope that all our purchase plugins will still function along with Ozone 12 I just purchased. That would be hilarious. Just the entire music community just purchased Native Instruments and then we just all own it, so we can keep using it. Raw Honesty says, my TuneSat says I got 21 placements last year, but I haven't seen anything from BMI other than $28. So it depends on when they happened last year. Was it spread out throughout the year? Did they all happen at once? If they were spread out, You'll probably just kind of see this trickle down effect where they just kind of not trickle down, but they trickle in. So if you got placements first quarter, that could have been the $28, and then second quarter you may see the next quarter, and there's like a delay. It's like, it could be like 6 to 9 months before you see royalties from things that aired, those 3 quarters prior. Yeah, Rising Hit is a go-to, man. Contact going away would be tragic. Yeah, it would. Like, immediately, it would render like 80% of my sessions just useless. Most of the newer stuff I've bounced in place though. But older stuff, yeah, we're gonna be using AI to revive older sessions if they hit me back once. So I wonder if you could do that. Like if you could, well, if you can't get the stems, because if it was MIDI, what I was thinking was like, what if you had a sound, right, that you no longer have, but you would have to separate. You had to be able to separate each individual sound. Because I don't know how you would tell the AI to like pinpoint a specific sound and then like recreate that sound unless you had it as an individual sound. But then if you had it as an individual sound, you wouldn't need AI to do it. So I don't know. I get in trouble for this. I think the human ear was defeated around 2012 and all gear plugins forward are icing on the cake. Thoughts? I'm not sure what you mean. Expound on, dig a little bit deeper into what you mean. But yeah, we'll see how it pans out, man. If it doesn't work out, my backup is what were we talking about? I always forget the name of that company, man. It's like a more reasonable library of sounds. I always forget the name. We were just talking about this too. In fact, I should probably just start by playing around with the free ones. I think somebody said they had some free sounds just to get used to like their whole little ecosystem or whatever. I can't find it. Not East West, even though East West has some dope stuff. I'm about to find it. I think I found the post that it's SoundPaint. I've heard good things about these libraries. So I'm gonna probably start playing around with some of these. But this will probably be the first place I go to should Native Instruments go under. And just support is all lost. I feel like though, like I feel like they would try and figure out a way to at least continue to somewhat support the stuff that's already out there, at least for a time to where people can just kind of transition, but we'll see. Michael Connor says, "Oh, light bulb. Can you use AI to come up with a riser transition?" 100%. I've been hearing some output from the paid Suno that is crazy. Like, can you prompt? Yeah. So I was playing around. Been hearing some output, like you can prompt. Yeah, I was playing around with 11 Labs for sound design stuff, and it was pretty legit. Like on some specific sound, like I was like, give me a sound of like a coin dropping or something like that, and it generated examples. So yeah, I think AI would be great for like creating transitional sounds, sound effects, sound design stuff. Yeah, I haven't pushed it for like, like some heavy duty some heavy duty like booms and hits and stuff that you would hear on like trailers. I haven't done any of that to really put it to the test yet, but yeah, definitely think that'll be a good tool. I tried to do it in Suno to try and create like a sound effect. Bro, it kept wanting to give me a fully produced 6-second track for whatever reason. And I told it, it's like, I don't want a full track. I just want a sound effect. Just, that's it. Like, sound effect. It gave me a 6-second fully produced track with multiple instruments. Like, Suno's overproducing. Start buying old libraries now. I'm telling you, man, get those good old faithful joints that just keep working. That or some hardware. Just go buy a piano. Call it a day. A piano, a guitar, a bass, and a drum set. Then you don't got to worry about this stuff. But then it's going to be a pain if you got to make some revisions, because now you about to play everything all over again. I'm looking to get a hold of as many libraries on disc as I can find. Yo, funny story. My grandma asked me to make her a mix CD. She was just like, asked me how music was going. I was like, it's going great. Can you make me a really nice mix CD? I said a CD. I was like, you want it like just emailed or an actual CD? Like, CD. I use CD players. I was like, you know what? I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to do that. I don't even have a CD player. I don't even have no, I do. I have a laptop with a CD drive. I may be able to make that work for her. I do. I haven't gotten rid of I have a what is it? Late 2008 MacBook, and I keep it because it works. It turns on. I put an SSD in there, like it works. It just doesn't run all the new stuff I use, but I guess it's gonna come in handy to make my grandma a mix CD. I haven't burned a CD in decades. It says they were first quarter 25. Maybe I just gotta get bigger placements because these were local news stations in Germany. I'm pretty sure USA placements make more money. Oh yeah, possibly. Hey, I'm surprised you got a check that quick from an international placement, because sometimes those take a while to come through. So yeah, it may trickle in from time to time. The international royalties, they grow over time though. And all of that stuff plays a role. Territory, the length of usage, the channel. So yeah, it depends. But that could be it. $28, 21 placements. That might be it. Coming from Germany. I'm gonna try. Try and hook her up, man. I noticed during the Super Bowl that they played a lot of hip hop sports, mostly orchestral during the game itself, like underneath Colin where it's breaking down the prior play. That's kind of new. Yeah. Yep. A lot of hip hop sports stuff. Doesn't get old, man. I'm even hearing it in NHL now as well. At least she said CD and not cassette tape. I know. I don't like, man, dubbing to tape that would be interesting. Like now I got to go out and get all new hardware from somewhere. It'd probably be the Goodwill or eBay or something. I have one external CD DVD writer and a few blank CDs available just in case. Man, you know what? I think I threw away a whole spindle, bro. We were cleaning up right before we had, was it the first kid or the second? It might have been the second one. We were cleaning out the basement and came across like a whole spindle of all, they came with all the different colors. And I was just like, man, I'm never going to use this. I haven't burned a CD in ages. And I think I just threw it away. I hesitated, though. I was like, what if I need it, though? But I was like, nah, I haven't needed it this far. I did not throw it away. Now I actually need it for grandma. Man, I may just buy her a bunch of CDs. Like, here's a few CDs. Just listen to them separately. It seemed like I've been going retro on like everything. Watches, video games. What else have I? I'm wearing an old Casio now. Just going back to the old school joints. Just simple, digital. Been playing Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, and I've been enjoying it. It's been far less complicated. I got tired of my Apple Watch buzzing on my wrist. I was like, you know what? I'll put it on like if I work out just to track stuff. And then, yeah. KJ Rhodes is, I was thinking how interesting it would be if UVI or UAD came in and bought Native Instruments. I think that would be very interesting, especially because I think Apple brought in somebody from Universal Audio on their team, if I'm not mistaken, for some of the stuff they were working on with Logic. But that would be interesting. I think Akai doing something would be interesting. You know what I mean? Because I was excited. To see some of Native Instrument sounds on MPC stuff. I was just like, oh, bet that's a great marriage. Because like I said before, the hardware from Native Instruments ain't been hitting on nothing new. I mean, they don't even have touchscreen on anything. I thought the latest Complete Control keyboard would at least have, they got those big beautiful screens, but you can't tap them. So I don't know. Listen, no, like they still sell these new. They sell, like, you can go on Amazon right now and find you a brand new. Which one is this? They've remade this. You can find you a brand new Casio A168. Fresh in the Casio box. They still make them. they've created a newer version of this though. It's like it counts steps and stuff like that, and I think they made an update on the light to where you can just press it once and then it'll stay on, because this one it don't stay on. Like you gotta hold it if you want it to stay on. But I don't use it that much at night anyway. But yeah, they still make them. Glad I caught you today on live, just listening while I drive my truck day job. Let's go, man. Good to see you in the building. Got 1,000 blanks, still hope they're good. Think about it. Go in a room with no smart devices, record direct onto a CD, mail it in the physical mail. You just sent a digital secret message. Facts. Michael Connor says, Clint, that retro game handheld console you mentioned somewhere is both dangerous and very smart. Not having a game that works in the background is wise for taking fixed time breaks. Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%. I gave that one to my son for his birthday, and I got me another one. I was just like, yo. But I got it for him because I was talking to a friend about this, man. Like, the games we grew up playing, they made you tough, like in terms of like mentally tough and not giving up, or like it's not an instant gratification. Like, if you don't beat the game, you don't beat the game, and it's challenging until you beat the game. So my son came to me today. He's like, I was playing the Mario, but it was too hard. Like, I kept dying, and then it kept starting me over. I was like, exactly. you got to start over again. If you don't do a good job, and you just got to keep figuring it out until you get it. But now, like, a lot of these new games, you can just like pay to level up and get to the next level, or pay for certain things. It's like, where's the challenge in that? So I like a lot of the old games because it just like teaches resilience and delayed gratification. It was Amber Nick. Here, I'll type it in the chat. That's the company name, and then they got like a bunch of different devices. The one I'll show you the one I just picked up. So they recently came out with this Game Boy Advance SP kind of remake, which is pretty cool. They added like, the analog sticks or whatever, but it's like a remake of the Game Boy Advance SP. I don't know why this thing won't focus. Camera focusing has been crazy. There we go. So they kind of remade the whole thing, and it's like pretty much the same dimensions, obviously different connections or whatever. You can connect it USB-C to charge it, and then the HDMI if you want to hook it up to the TV. But yeah, it's cool. It's focused, man. It's not like having a phone and then, you got emails going off. You got, different notifications going off on the phone, and just distractions. Next thing you know, you're doing something else. But yeah, if you just want to take like a quick break, 15, 30 minutes or whatever, reset real quick, it's been pretty cool to do that and just kind of go back and, have nostalgia. And then you got different, different systems and stuff. So whatever your favorite game's on, it just has different systems that emulate, and then you can just find games and stuff for it, and some other stuff like you can watch movies on here and all that stuff. Cause it's not locked to, it's like basically like a old media device. Yeah, and I did it too. Like it's twofold because, if you ever do like music for video game stuff, you kind of want to see, or even like some of the arcade or retro video games that they're making now, you kind of want to see how music works in a game, like just in context. So you just go through and like play some stuff, and then you notice, okay, they have some type of music at the the beginning screen where you're picking the characters or levels. Is it loopable? Is it just kind of looping around? Is it changing? And then you notice during gameplay, if you do something, you get some type of achievement, or you get a new item, like on Zelda, you hear a certain chime or something like that. So then you start to see in context how music and sound design is used in video games. So then when you start working on video games, or if you're trying to pitch and stuff, now you kind of have more context of the different deliverables that they may look for, that they may need. So it's kind of for that too. So I'm trying to convince myself and my CPA how we can write off this video game device over here. So, so we'll see how that works out. What camera are you using for this stream? It's so clear and the autofocus is open, brother. Sony, that is the A6600 with a Sigma 30mm lens. Also inspiring to make a 5-track 8-bit music playlist and pitch. Boom, exactly. But they're still looking for that stuff, man. Developers. So, yeah, really, really cool stuff. And they're mad reasonable. Like it's not going to break the bank. And I feel like way more comfortable giving my 7-year-old like one of these instead of a dang on, $200 switch. I don't know how much switches are now. They probably like, how much is the new Nintendo Switch? Bro, they $500. Dude, I thought they were $200. They're $500. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, yeah, I think this is like $50. Like yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Systems didn't used to cost that much, man. That is crazy. So, yeah. So that's it, man. I'm about to get back to work. I just wanted to check in, chop it up, and let you guys know if you're expecting placements this quarter, you should have started last year. But if you want placements this time next year, now is the time to start. Click the link in the description or comment the word hub, and I'll shoot you the link to our community, and we'll teach you all the things to do, all the mistakes to avoid, so you can get there faster. You may get there sooner than a year. I don't know, but be in it for the long haul so you can reap the benefits. That's a year worth of sync to buy a Switch. No, seriously, like that is depending on what gets synced. Yeah, you got to put in some work for that. But yeah, no, he's not ready for that yet. But this is a good start to see how it works. So yeah. Yep, hit the link in the description, join Sync Producer Hub, catch us in there. And yeah, so we're gonna do these hangouts on Mondays. You know what? I don't know. Probably I was thinking Mondays and Wednesdays probably. Cause I'm usually getting my day started around this time, Monday and Wednesdays in the morning. So yeah, may just kind of hang out live Monday and Wednesday and just chop it up, check in with everybody. So yeah, that's it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.